Hi, everybody. Welcome to the mid-month Healthy Tips for Tails video. And apropos to the season of the big holidays, there's a lot of joy, there's a lot of busyness, there's a lot of families, there's larger crowds, there's a lot of energy, there's a change of routine, and there's also your animals responding to this whole energy. And we're going to look this time at nausea, vomiting, and holiday meals. Because at this time of the year, the animals may get into some challenging situations, and we want to avoid them going to the emergency clinic and you in the middle of the night. So just to put things in perspective, we have a couple of animals who have volunteered their little histories with us. And I want to talk first, before we meet them, about the energy of the stomach and what happens with nausea, vomiting. So the energy in the stomach, you eat something, things go down the esophagus, down into the stomach, and then go around and down through the intestinal tract and out the anus. When there's nausea, what happens is it'll stop at the stomach and get stuck there. And the first thing that happens is that you don't want to eat, and the energy is trying to come back up. It goes the wrong way. It is considered chi that goes the wrong way, or rebellious chi. So either coming here and not wanting to eat, or coming here and really coming out. So let's look at our first volunteer. And this is Mr. Ben. And Mr. Ben wakes my friend Linda up, and she's a friend and a colleague. And Mr. Ben likes to get up at 2 o'clock in the morning. He's had an upset stomach, and he wants to go outside and eat grass. We've already talked about grass eating in a previous video. And my friend doesn't want to get up at 2 o'clock in the morning and let him out and let him see what he wants to eat. So instead, she has some rice crackers or Rice Crisps next to the bed, and she offers Ben one of those to settle the stomach. If that doesn't work, what she does is she goes to the next step. And here we're going to say goodbye to Ben. He's the cutest guy, and he's also can drive you nuts at 2 in the morning. And we're going to say back hello to me and talk about chamomile, Chamomilla matricaria. Now, I know that I've talked about chamomile before, but it's really important for you to remember it enough to have it as a go-to when things come up. Chamomile is a sedative, it calms you down, but it's also a bitter and a cooler in the stomach. Chamomile is the best herb to use if there's indigestion, nausea, or even vomiting that occurs after emotions of anger and anxiety. So you get upset, it goes directly to your stomach. Chamomile is the herb. You can use that in either a tea form or in a capsule form. It will settle the stomach. You will actually see the changes in the face of your animal rather than like this, if it's a helpful herb. Now, some individuals, you need something a little bit stronger than chamomile. Chamomile is my first go-to. If there's more discomfort, enough so that they want to curl up or stand really straight and don't want to move, they may not want to eat at all, or they may eat and like smack the lips a lot. Smacking the lips is either a dry mouth or some nausea, but it's definitely something coming up or trying to moisten. So if your animal is smacking the lips, does not want to eat, may come up and smell the food and walk away, and looks like there's a lot of discomfort, the herb that I would go to is catnip, Nepeta cataria, or cataria, depending on which taqueria you go to. And catnip is, as you know, the thing that makes the cats crazy. But catnip, in addition to the hallucinogens that we think about, is one of the best stomach settlers. It settles nerves. It helps give you self-confidence. As a matter of fact, in the Middle Ages, the hangmen in England, before they had to do their job and hang somebody, would chew on some catnip, and this would give them the nerve to go through with their job. So catnip helps settle the nerves and make you feel okay with yourself. But in addition, it decreases spasms. And if your animal is like this, the babies who are really good with catnip will lay on their back and bring their legs to their chest. The animals instead will curl up. And catnip is for those individuals who, while they're feeling nauseous, not eating, and or beginning to vomit, they feel like they're running a fever, so they want to be cool. So catnip is one of those herbs that I would go to, and I use it in a glycerate. You can get that glycerate. I get it from Herbalist Alchemist back east, but I'm sure you can find it in many different places. It's important to get it in a glycerate because when it's in alcohol as a tincture, it may irritate the stomach, even though the herb is good. Or with the glycerate, it helps to soothe the stomach. If your animal is one of those animals who will eat it, and you can make a tea, it's in the mint family, so it's like a spearmint, but it has a little bit of a strong taste as well as smell. Some animals like it, some animals don't like it. So the glycerate may be the way to go. And what you're going to do is just use a small amount of that glycerate. For a cat, I would use maybe 5 or 6 drops, up to 10 drops. For a larger dog, I would use up to a half cc, and half milliliter is the basic thing, maybe all the way up to a milliliter if you have a larger dog, and it settles the stomach. My cat Nick likes this. I only give him a few drops, and he immediately goes crazy and then comes back to eat. The acu-points that are best for this situation is the stomach alarm point. We talked about this before, but I find that repetition is the best for learning. Here's my bra strap, here's my belly button, halfway between. So your sternum, the sternum notch, and then halfway between that and the belly button. When you're looking at the animals, it's right in the middle over the stomach, and this is conception vessel 12. It's what you use when you rub your belly. Oh, feels good, feels good. If you can't get to that, the same place on the back at the end of the rib cage on both sides of the spine is the stomach association point, and that whole area right as the belt going along the upper belt, this is the stomach point. Holding here and just even massaging or giving energy is extremely helpful for settling the stomach. We want the energy to move downward. Okay, we're going to go to our next sharer. And we're going to go to Miss S. Miss S, who's the little scaredy cat. She looks like a kitten, but she's actually almost 9 years old here. And on her own, she plays. She's very funny. She's alert. She moves around a lot. She's very friendly to herself, her person, and the individual she knows. Anybody rings the bell, a stranger comes in, she's up the stairs. So this is a little kitty who decides to stop eating, won't eat anything, is not interested in food. And what she will do is she'll go up, look at the food, walk away, and not even think about it. And the person gets really upset because she wants the animal to eat. So let me tell you a little bit about her. We're going to stop this share screen, come back. And Miss S, the scaredy cat, is an anxious cat. She's restless. She gets up and sits down, gets up and sits down, moves around. She's also chilly. She likes to sit by a heater vent in front of the heater. She may sit on top of the computer. Anything to keep warm. She might even worship the heater when it's not on and just sit there waiting for you to turn it on. The other thing that happens with this cat is that she gets thirsty, but she can only take little sips of water. So the homeopathic remedy that helps Miss S is arsenicum album. Arsenicum album is one of those remedies that's a polyplus. We've talked about nux vomica, we've talked about phosphorus, they're all polyplus. What that means is that they can be used for many organ systems. There's a wide range of the constitution that phosphorus or nux vomica can be helpful to. Nux vomica and phosphorus are individuals who prefer cool. Arsenicum album is an individual who prefers warm. So think about when you see on the mysteries on television when people die from arsenic poisoning and they start drooling out of their mouth, they have a burning sensation, they drop dead, and they hurt. They have like weeks of gastritis before they die. Arsenicum album is homeopathic arsenic. And remember, homeopathy is an energy of a substance that, when diluted to the minuscule, carries none of the physical aspects of that substance when it's whole, but instead recreates a vibration to balance out the feelings that the individual is having. And arsenicum album is used to decrease burning in the tract. And it's for those individuals who are chilly, who are restless, who are insecure, they feel vulnerable, they just want to be held, they want to be near you, but they can't settle, that they'll be near you, come away, near you, and come away. And again, little sips of water frequently. So arsenicum album is used if the animal doesn't want to eat, starts vomiting, and usually the vomiting is clear liquid, small amounts, sometimes yellow tinge, sometimes it's foaming. It may be associated with a renal issue or just chronic gastritis. And at the holiday season, when things get anxious, the situation changes, new people come into the house, this may activate your animal's symptoms. Arsenicum album individuals usually get sick between midnight and 2 in the morning. They can get sick the other times, but the main times is when your vet is closed and you don't want to get up and go to the emergency clinic. So arsenicum album in a 30C. For a cat, you're looking at 1 tiny pellet. You can dilute it in water, maybe a ½ ounce or 1 ounce of water. Shake it a few times until it dilutes somewhat. Take a dropper full of the water, put it in the mouth. If it's a larger animal, 2 pellets, 3 pellets, and again, you can dilute it in water and then be able to give it that way. But arsenicum album is good for those individuals who are really restless, who are more ill than the ones that have the chamomile, and who want to be warm. The acu-point that's the best for decreasing nausea and vomiting. Oh, by the way, arsenicum album is the remedy if there's vomiting and diarrhea close together. So it's one of the big food poisoning remedies. Okay, the acupressure point that's the best for taking care of nausea is pericardium 6. Again, we've talked about this point before, but I keep repeating it so that maybe we'll remember it. And this is the wrist pad that's on top of the paw, on top of the wrist. And it's usually right below or right above that wrist pad between the ligaments. If you're not sure where it is, you just rub right around that pad. And that helps to relieve nausea and vomiting. And you can do it on either or both sides. Remember, if your animal is not amenable to your touching them when they don't feel well, you can do this point on yourself in the close proximity of your animal, and that energy field transfers over. So I hope these have been helpful to you. I'm trying to find the right amounts of information for this period of time so that we engage your intellect and not overwhelm, and you can walk away remembering something. Have a great holiday time, and we'll see you next year. Take care.